Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as Ripple's Swell Conference and the DC FinTech Conference hosted by the BIS have begun. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one of the most powerful weeks of the year for XRP news. Pay attention, because the next couple days are going to show a lot about our favorite digital asset. And remember when XRP soared 60,000% in 12 months from 0.006 cents to $3.84. That was with pure speculation. Now, with smarter partnerships, with a better infrastructure, with XRP being relisted on all exchanges and with full regulatory clarity, the potential is staggering, and I 100% agree. I've long stated I believe in a $15 to $20 XRP price target at the end of this next bull run, and I stand by that. 2024 is going to be the year of XRP adoption. But right now is the narrative building. The problem, reaction, solution scenario is on the table, as the US banking system is being stated to still be vulnerable. Do you see how they plant the seeds to make you prepared for what's to come? Because I most certainly do. But despite that, the solution is getting a mass marketing campaign this week. Remember the other day when Brad Garlinghouse talked about how trillions are on the side waiting to be adopted in this space? I've always told every single one of you custodianship is the biggest limitation preventing a tidal wave from the entire crypto market completely exploding. And this time around, there's going to be custodians that are compliant, institutional grade, trusted, and will cause the market to absolutely explode.
The macro environment around custody digital assets is expected to be close to $10 trillion by the year 2030. And inevitably, people are going to need a place to store those assets, and safe, secure, and they're going to need to be able to transfer them as well, having good on and off ramps. Even a tokenization engine, some of the work Ripple is doing around central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. So we think there's a lot of pieces that come together, and we already had, and I remember when you and I first spoke, I remember being on a call with one of the largest top 10 banks in the world, and a bank Ripple was already working with, and they were asking us about could we help them with their custody. This is prior to the Medico acquisition, and we weren't in a position to do that. And so when I think about that synergy, the ability to say to that existing Ripple customer, hey, here's a best in class, going head to head time and time again and winning on the custody level, to be able to bring that product to them, I think is a great opportunity for the two companies together. So
now you see, ladies and gentlemen, the Ripple and XRP are looking to be the be all end all solution to a massive institutional problem. Oh, Gary, you tried your best to stop us, Gary, but look at us now. Crypto Eddie stated she had this article in her back pocket for more than 4 years, and the SBI CEO Yoshi Takakatao, representing the largest shareholder of Ripple, was interviewed in 2019, and he stated that he thought XRP would become the #1 crypto asset among them all, and they were moving towards that goal. With the newfound legal clarity, this goal is more possible than ever. And yes, SBI does utilize the digital asset XRP in a variety of ways, including as a bridge currency, and they also embrace ERC20 tokens with their R3 Japan joint venture. But what stands out for me is SBI mines Bitcoin, so this was a powerful statement. Ladies and gentlemen, stay the course and pay attention. Here we have Brian Brooks. Brian Brooks, where are you, Brian Brooks? We miss you so much. From DC FinTech Week on crypto adoption. Crypto is not going to stop, and it's only coming faster every single day. And people trying to stop that adoption need to get over it.
I think the biggest risk is slow adoption. I don't think there's a risk in the underlying technology platforms. What it feels a lot like to me are, the advent of smartphones or the advent of the commercial internet, even honestly like the advent of the CD player. Like, who's old enough to remember when you bought your first CD player for $999, And the risk was that you were the chump that was paying $999 like I did in 1985 for your first CD player. And 3 years later, you could buy that same CD player for $29. So there's a bit of like an early adopter issue. And I think what many of us have been waiting on for 5, 6, 7 years at this point is, when is crypto going to have its breakout moment, or this mass adoption moment? And I think, Mike and I probably both believe that housing finance is as likely a candidate for that as anything else. And why? Because it's the largest market of any financial asset in the world. The US housing financial market is the largest financial market in the world. So it's more likely that people will start doing that than anything else, and that will break open all of these possibilities. I will just say as an aside, there have been a couple of efforts to do this already. So when my friend Chris Giancarlo was the CEO or the board chair or whatever he was of Common Securitization Solutions, Chris is a long time, his book is called Crypto Dad. I mean, he was the CFTC chairman, the CSS chairman, but was a crypto guy who was very interested in the promise of public blockchains. And there was a moment when, CSS and the agencies were really looking at the possibility of using blockchains as a securitization vehicle, which, didn't quite get off the ground, and so it took Figure to try and launch this. I think this is a likely early adopter thing, but as long as it remains a niche crypto native activity, it will be expensive, it'll be seen as risky. We have to overcome that. This is the CD player, okay? Yes, your cassette tapes are super awesome, but just get over it.
Okay, take a shift a bit. How does the country
first?
Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to cap off this video for today, I have this from 801XRP, as he's been doing a great job pointing out some of the DC FinTech Week clips that we all need to pay attention to. Here is the head of the Bank for International Settlements Innovation Hub, Cecilia Skingsley, discussing how most of their projects are in the space of improving cross-border payments, the exact same niche XRP is in. How ironic. And she thinks it's fair to say there's room for improvements that can be faster, cheaper, and more transparent. Oh, how interesting. All of the language that is synonymous with our success. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so powerful, and I absolutely love it. And something else I want to tell all of you is that over the next couple days, a lot of clips will be coming out, helping secure your confidence that XRP will be the leader of the crypto space, just like Yoshitaka Kitao said 4 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, there should be no fear in your souls. We are putting the puzzle pieces of confidence together. And I can't wait for every single one of us to absolutely dominate this space. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. Just as a simple reminder, yesterday in my OnlyFans, I posted my latest portfolio update. The most important portfolio update I've ever posted. Because it will be the cryptos that I'll be riding in the 2024 bull run. And I want every single one of you who hasn't looked at it to do so already. That's at onlyfans.com/thebearablebull. And I hope all of you take advantage. Now, as always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now, I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Where do you see the problems in the space, and then where do you see solutions and the potential arrangements?
Well, I think it's going to take time before we have the full picture, but you're absolutely right. More than half of our projects are within payments, infrastructure, CBDC space. And when you think about it, it's kind of logical. Central banks is in essence the assigned authorities within our different societies to be the experts when it comes to providing a good version of money and make sure that it works in our different societies. And good version of money, I mean the version of money that meets the criteria of being a sort of stable store of value and efficient medium of exchange. And with all the technology going, and we know that things can onboard pretty quickly, we want people to stay in the fiat money system. We think that that is the best way for making economic transactions. And we've tried to, most of our projects are in the space of improving cross-border payments. So cross-border payments, I think it's fair to say that there's room for improvements there. It can be faster, cheaper, and more transparent. If you take people living in the US, for example, wanting to send remittances to family and friends in, for example, Mexico, Central America, they can have to pay an extra 5 or up to 10% in fees, and they can take a long time for the money arrive, and there's not that many compatible choices. So we are in that field, and how do we do it? Well, we try first to improve what already exists, but we are also kind of looking into future issues, and CBDCs are an interesting such future thing. But let me first say a few words about what we try to improve in the current system. So in the world, there are currently more than 60 fast payment systems in major economies around. Yeah. Take myself, I can, as living in Sweden, use the Swish system to send money to my children very quickly, or friends to share a restaurant bill. And when I spend my life in Basel, in Switzerland, I can use the equivalent there, Twint, which is doing the same sort of operation, share a meal or sharing a gift to a colleague. But I can't send money between those systems. And the idea here is to connect the fast payment systems through something called the Nexus gateway. Because if you try to do this in a bilateral way with all these 64 and increasing number of fast payment systems, you would end up with a maze of more than 1,700 bilateral connections. So we have a group of bold countries, 5 countries in Asia: Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. They've said that they are prepared to go first, but we are sort of mindful that we want this to scale across the world and hopefully get more countries to sign in. I think the value of having a fast payment system and using that as a client would go up considerably. But we are also looking into CBDCs, and you can think about CBDCs in 2 ways. Wholesale CBDCs would be an offer facilitating transactions between financial institutions in a much better form than is offered today. Or, and you can take a further step from that and also offer it in a retail form to the general public, namely households and businesses. And why would that be interesting then, or worth the effort? Well, the way I'm thinking about it, and this is the short version of a long explanation, in a future society, if, and in many countries, when, cash no longer work on our daily lives, but we still want to be ambitious as policymakers and make sure public policy objectives are being met around inclusion, efficiency, resilience, and people's public trust in the money, and protecting the singleness of money, then retail CBDC should be there as an offer. And I say offer. I really think this is important, that this is not something that should be pushed upon individuals. It should be an offer from the society, and giving fundamentally people a choice what sort of way they want to access money and make their daily transactions in a digitalized world. So we are here to help by experimenting, researching, and then it's up to jurisdictions to see what they want to do with it.
Well, here in the United States,